So let's start. So far we have two Crimson meetings from since last week, since yesterday. I'm posting the agenda and the meeting notes in the chat window. So we can choose one of the meeting or both of them at will to fit your calendar and needs. And last week I was doing code review and on B tree implementation, and as Sam mentioned, it's fine to spill the embedded O node at will, so we don't need to care about the double split case. Let's simplify the design of O tree implementation a lot.
But we cannot change. But we cannot change O node size after it is stored in the tree, right? We cannot extend the size of the O node.
You kind of can, you kind of can't. You can't extend the size of the block, but you can write it to a new, bigger block. Blocks can be bigger. That's fine.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can arrange it so that your deltas make the O node logically larger, even though the block size isn't that big. That's fine too. You just have to be really careful to make sure that when you encode it back out, it's the size it needs to be.
I mean, if O node is inlined in the tree, but we suddenly want to extend it to a little bit larger, that will be very inefficient.
It depends on how you structure the interior of the tree space. You could make it so that the individual O nodes are, for instance, chunked, or you could make it so that every O node is assumed to be up to some size, and anything after that gets shoved out to another one. You just have to be clever about how you choose the internals of the O node nodes.
Okay.
What you're describing is the basic problem that if you want to reallocate something to a bigger space than it already is, then it may complicate the existing layout, and that's the same here as it is in any allocator.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you have a much smaller amount of space to alloc with, that's all. You could do other things, like if you know that some parts of the O node are variable sized and other parts are fixed size, you could factor the O node into two pieces, the fixed size part and the variable size part, and make it so that the fixed size part goes in one portion of the allocated node, and the variable size parts can be sort of filled in the rest of the space, that you don't have to constantly reallocate. I suggest that you start with the simplest thing, where you just assume that if you have to expand the size, you have to move everything else in the node around.
Yeah.
And then make it smarter later.
Yeah, that's my current direction.
Yep, I think that's fine for now, and there are ways to change that later to make it cleverer.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a lot to work, even on the internal in-node design. I think there's a lot of work to be do there, like the in-node the in-node compression, prefix compression, etc., to make it more spatial efficient. And I'm done.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the past week kept working on CLS log. I've actually implemented the backend functions. It seemed like Shuhan did some of the work for me. He actually implemented the OMAP get header, I think, in one of his pull requests. So I used that. Unfortunately, I don't have the pull request in front of me, so I can't really link it. Maybe you can.
Could you paste it in the chat window? What permission you don't have at this moment?
Oh wait, I think I lost audio.
Okay, let's come back to Amnon once he's solved his technical problem. Treme.
Yeah. I provide the PR and update according to the comments. So please review it. And
Will do.
I started the extend tree design this week. So that's all.
But Treme, I just want to remind that what Yixing and I are working on is the synchronized version of the prototyping. So the interface is not yet finalized, but you can if you want to design based on it, you'd better assume that the finalized design will be a returning feature when it comes to async ops.
Tremaine, are you referring to the O node tree or the extend map?
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
Extend map,
The tree. The tree will use some the fixed K and not fixed K to get the O node, right? The leaf is O node information. The O node information will include extend map. So extend map, do we use extend tree? It's not only a map, it's a tree.
Yeah, in general, that sounds right.
Okay. So each O node will have a extend tree root information, right? I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Probably
that's concern.
probably you want to make it so that it's assumed to be some small fixed size, the root node, so that in the event that it's all one mapping, it fits inside the O node.
Okay, so that's my think. Okay, so O node leaf will include the extend tree root for each O node for its own O node. So I just make sure that the leaf information will contain the O node the extend tree root.
I think that's true. But if the O node is very very small, I think a partial of it will be embedded in the O node.
I think the root certainly will be, and in the event that the allocation is simple, for instance, an RGW object that got written all at once, then it'll be one entry big, in which case there shouldn't be any children nodes. It should be fully embedded into the O node. So just ensure that your root node can be arbitrarily small, up to one entry.
Yeah, so when the extend tree will very small, so the content will be included in the O node leaf, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
And the O node itself, in fact.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Pratik, anything you want to share with us? Ronan.
Hi, everybody. Probing after the help I got yesterday, I have the original code passing at least one test. I'm not this is where I am now. I'm talking about the standalone test.
Did you manage to run the standalone test and it passed on the master branch?
Yes.
Okay.
On the master, one test at least. Another one is still running for a long time now and showing some JSON dumps error or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I'll probably find out what happened there. But one test passed, so at least the basic problems were solved. And so thanks everyone who helped me yesterday.
Okay. Good luck with it. Sam?
Okay, so I have the unit test harness up to a point where it can make a fess and then replay and mount. Just the very basic writing down the root block and the LBA root block. And I believe I have all the code required to do insertions and splits within the LBA tree. So I'm going to finish writing those unit tests, and then I think I'm going to write some documentation and then push a PR. We won't have the ability to remove mappings yet, but at least then we can split off some work like writing the garbage collector and some other things.
What do you
The
mean
code
by removing
an
the
entry.
mapping?
Just I literally haven't written that code yet. That's all. I've written like 60% of it, but the top bootstrapping stuff I haven't done yet. I also haven't written the stuff for replaying deltas against the LBA blocks. It's a matter of writing down writing encoded versions of the operations for inserting and removing entries through a block. But that also is just work. In other words, I think I'm going to pick a finishing point for this PR and then push a PR for it. And then people will have opinions, so it's going to take a while to merge anyway. And I'll continue working on the next stage.
So what is missing is the replaying and checkpoint.
So the code for actually literally replaying deltas out of the journal exists, and all of the code required for formatting and writing to the journal exists. But the part after that, when you pull a delta off disk, you check the type, and then pull the relevant replay code for that type. That replay, those replay operations don't exist yet for any of the block types, but the code for doing it does. So there's enough there to unit test the journaling, but not enough to unit test some of the B-tree stuff. But I think that's an adequate stopping point, or not a stopping point, but an adequate PR point, so that some of the code will be in the repository. It'll make it easier for other people to start working. I'm hoping that'll take a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
A week for
to get the PR.
For sending it materialize the PR. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I have some more work to do to get those unit tests working, but after that I'll send the PR.
Okay. Johan.
Last week I refactored the pglog-based recovery PR, and now I'm trying to make the Crimson OSD shutdown gravely, and after which I think I can concentrate myself on blocking IOs for recovery ops, and I think that's all for me.
Last week I make some adjustment to my current tree implementation, the interfaces, and wrote the skeleton code of tree node classes. I'm majorly designing the block layout of the right side variable sized items, and considering the how to deal with the hash collisions and how to share common prefixes with this layout. And this is a link here. I have drawn a diagram to illustrate the layout. And my plan is to firstly consider the space efficient rather than computational efficient, because most of the data structures are not aligned. And the most probably I will firstly implement node types 0 and 3 for simplicity and ignore 1 and 2. And I will start to develop the lookup logic in the next step. That's all.
Okay, thanks. But I think the difficult part is to find the right pivot point and do the split. That I'm struggling with. By the way, as I'm updating the pad, so if you want to check out what we have been discussing in the last night, probably you could check it out. And Amnon, have you managed to fix your audio? Amnon? I still cannot hear you. Oh,
Okay, what about now?
much better. I can now.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, I kept implementing the backend functions for CLS log. I stopped at the point where I said that I also used the part of Schuhan's PR. I don't have it in front of me. But like I said, maybe I can just get it to PG backend. Yeah, I wrote the implementations now. I just I'm trying to fix some stuff. And yeah,
I'm not sorry.
that's
Could
wrong.
you
Another
repeat
thing I did.
I can barely
we can't hear you.
Okay. I don't know. It seems to be a problem with the network, I think.
Could you also update the pad so we can also check out what you've been accomplished last week over the pad?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I'm sorry. It just seems to be a problem with the network. So yeah. Now I'm just.
Amnon, what was suggested is that you update the pad because you're flaky. Your sound is flaky. Just update the pad. The link is now in the chat with what you've been doing.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. I received the new calendar invitation from Kefu, but I think the time is not correct. So
It's supposed to be a new invitation for the meeting last night. It's a GMT +8, 10 p.m. 10:45 p.m. But if you cannot make it, you can simply ignore that invitation.
yeah, I received another invitation.
Really?
It happens on 45 minutes later, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, this morning I saw an invitation that fell 45 minutes after the start of this meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out and try to cancel it.
I don't see it anymore, so I think maybe you moved it or already fixed it this morning.
I removed that one.
Okay.
Okay, Amnon is updating the pad. Currently at debugging stage. Okay, I'll try to take another look at your CBDPR. Anything else? Okay, thank you guys, and talk to you guys next week for one of the meetings or two of them, and have a good one. Talk to you later.
All right. Good night.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.